The what?
The turkeys. Speaking of rotor wash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thought another one. When they mine swept the Highway 1, the engineer battalions, they'd sweep the whole road from the DMZ down to, all the way down to Saigon, I guess. And nobody drove on that until they were done. And even then, they'd blow up mines. They'd miss some. They'd always miss some. And then they had those culverts or something. They'd stick one in there in just a few minutes and sit off the side and punch a button and wait till a truck came by and blow it up. And it was, when we flew up and down hauling our ash and trash and all kinds of supplies, you flew up and down the highway, and then you'd go off to the west into the fire base, wherever you were gonna haul that stuff. And the standard operating procedure was that if you saw smoke, a smoke bomb on the highway, you were to discern as best you could that that was our people down there, and you were to land no matter what. No matter what, you were to go down there and find out if that aircraft was needed. And 99% of the time, you could see it was needed. There was a truck on its side or all cocked up in the air, and there's guys laying on there with no legs or whatever the case may be. And you'd pick the guy up and take him 50 miles south to the Da Nang hospital and press on and do the rest of your mission. Well, we did that all the time. That happened probably, for the average pilot, that would happen to you probably a couple times a week at least.
Wow.
You'd pick somebody up on the highway that got blown up or whatever. We'd take them down to Da Nang, and that saved a lot of lives. Well, one time I got stuck flying this General for, 4 days or 5 days, while his pilot that was assigned to him went on R&R to Hawaii or Taiwan or wherever he went, I don't know. And this guy was, he was just a horse's patoot. He was a real arrogant, wouldn't speak to the pilots, and his aide was a lieutenant, told us never talk to the general. Don't talk to the general under any circumstances. Well, I told him, I'm the aircraft commander, and I'm responsible not only for the aircraft, but the people that are in it, so I'm gonna have to talk to the general at times. To begin with, I need to know where he wants to go. I need to know when he wants to be picked up. He says, well, I'll take care of that, I'll take care of that. And I said, no, it won't work. I have to know from the guy that's the boss. You're not the boss, I'm sorry. That's the way that's our orders from our commander. And if you want to change those, you're welcome to do it, but you have to do that through my commander. Oh, all right, but you watch what you say. Yeah, Roger Dodger. Well, we took off, we're flying up the highway, and sure enough, here's a smoke bomb down there, and here's an old 3/4 ton truck laying on its side in a ditch. Well, you know right away what's going on. And there's a guy out there all laying on his back on the road, and somebody's doing this and popping smoke. And so we'd make a circle around, make sure it's ours and it's obvious. And I landed down, and this general's back there on the intercom just raising Cain with me. And he's telling me he's going to court-martial me and wants to know, what in the world are you doing? And I told him, as best I could in the interim of doing all this, what I was doing, that it was standard operating procedure, and this is what we're supposed to do based on our commander, which is also your commander. And he says, I'll see to it you get, I don't know what he was going to court-martial me or whatever. Well, we loaded up one guy with one leg blown away, and the other guy had his arms were incapacitated. He couldn't use his arms. And the other guy had a concussion or something. He was out cold. And there was only one guy of the 4 that was halfway normal, and he helped get them in, and we took them down to Da Nang to the air hospital, and the same old thing, the stretchers come and take them in the hospital, and then we're done, we go off on our way. And he says, never mind this mission, you just take me right back to the VIP pad, and we're gonna see about this, young man. I said, Roger Dodger. So we went back to the VIP pad, and he gets off, and he runs out the front of the aircraft, and he's standing there doing this in front of the aircraft, and he takes off. So I thought, oh, okay. I thought my career is probably finished. So we took the aircraft back to the revetment, parked it, and we went back to our little hooch where we lived, and I'm sitting there with my shirt open, the fan blowing on me. It's just terrible hot. And I hear this running down the little gravel sidewalk there, chunk, 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 chunk. The commander, Major, I forgot his name. He comes in, he says, Mulheron, what in the heck did you do? And I told him exactly what happened. He says, oh my gosh, you did the right thing, but oh my gosh, and off he went to they must have just ate him alive. And he said, I'll have to call Colonel so-and-so. Well, he called Colonel Davis, the aviation battalion commander, and he called over there to the commanding general's office and got it squared away. So here comes the walking this time, chunk, 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 down to and then it's our commander. He says, well, it's all over with. You're off the hook. And I said, I figured it would be. He said, yeah, boy, I'm sure glad it was you, not somebody else. If it had been somebody else that didn't know what the deal was, they'd have left those guys and done what the general done, and that would have been 20 times as bad. Yeah. That commander would have been relieved of his duties, and he'd have been fired. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you get a guy that outranks you in your aircraft that doesn't know how to use an aircraft, and you got to go against his wishes, unfortunately.